Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
What is up, everyone? It is I, Ryan Neil Wayne, with Joe King, and today we're going to be talking about episode 4 of season 48 with North from the Truest Northern. Introduce yourself, tell us what you're about, your whole, like how long you've been a Survivor fan, about your channel, everything.
Yeah, for sure. Hi everyone, my name is North. I'm from the YouTube channel Truest Northern. I've been making for season 48 videos on my Edgic analysis of the season. That's kind of been my niche recently. I'm a fairly recent Survivor fan. I've only been into the show for about 2 years. I kind of got into it in college, and then made some friends that were super into it, so I started getting into it. I binged the entire show over the course of like 3 months. And then since then, I've been, watching Australian Survivor and all these other shows. So super into it. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, reading a lot of Edgic, and now I've ended up here as a
Yeah.
big fan.
Yeah, for the fans who don't know what Edgic is, maybe you can give like a little like explanation or like go into detail about what Edgic is.
Yeah, so Edgic is kind of basically trying to analyze the edit rather than just looking at like positioning and whatnot. Like normally, like you would look at the game and think about the position that someone's in, but some people like to look at sort of what is being shown in the edit to see who is being shown a lot, who's being shown a little, how are they being edited in certain ways to potentially show longevity further in the game. And there's a lot of different kind of aspects to how people analyze the edit. It's kind of a traditional system that people like to do. There's a whole like subreddit dedicated to trying to read the edit. It's not a science. A lot of people get scared of Edgic. They're like, I don't want to
Hmm.
get spoiled by someone's Edgic prediction. But it really is people totally have disagree on their opinions. And this week was a big shakeup that a lot of Edgic people did not expect at all. So you
Yep.
never know what's really going to happen.
That's interesting because we do talk about the edit quite a bit on here. We have a whole segment about confessional count, as you'll see later, because we value screen time on this channel. But yeah, so like
Mhm.
we were talking a little bit before this. We talked about how in last episode, Joe and I we ranked 1 through 15, the likeliness of winning games. I personally put down Thomas as like number two because he has one of the better advantages in the game, the steal a vote, which pretty much gains you, it pretty much makes, it pretty much is a 2 vote difference in any scenario, basically. So like he had the California girls, he had
Hmm.
so much going for him. He was a he I say like a modern, new era villain, but like he had a lot of potential and he was like cut down in his prime. I feel like he was getting so many confessionals, and I was just like, whoa, I was shocked at that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's had at least five confessionals in those last three episodes that he was just in. So I mean, like that's definitely like trying to showcase him as like a big player like you'd imagine, but no, they decide yeah, Thomas has to go. It was also executed so brilliantly by Camilla and Kyle. Like I when Camilla like first started kind of like saying like, oh no, we're not together, and I started like seeing like the her throwing Thomas under the bus, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's such a good move. And I hadn't even seen the full aftermath of everything yet. I was just like, damn, she's really like pulling this off right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kyle and Camilla did everything so well
Yeah.
here. I know that Thomas had talked a little bit in his exit about how, maybe the first act of their like multi-stage play was a little bit rougher, but they smoothed out any issues they had out past that point to completely pull the wool over their eyes, especially
Mhm.
especially over Shaheen, who we saw a lot of him being completely convinced by this play of theirs. It was very
Yeah.
impressive
Mhm.
episode from Kyle and Camilla.
Yeah. Also,
Oh, 100%.
Shaheen, why are you looking through someone's bag but not looking through their bag? Just like feeling around and hoping you get
Yeah,
something hard. Like,
you're afraid you're getting caught, I guess, but like uh no, I also like here's the thing. They kind of pinned it on Shaheen, but it was really Thomas was like, check the bag.
yeah,
And this is not the only time we've seen Thomas be like, "Hey, Shaheen, why don't you do something villainous so I can keep my hands clean?"
Yeah, he's framing him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is what sucks is that we're gonna miss out on more of this. Like, we need villains on Survivor. Like, we need people to be saying this kind of stuff. So I wanted this to be at least like through episode 8 or 9 at like minimum. So, that's something that we're definitely gonna miss. I think moving forward.
Hmm.
If they do bring back pre-mergers, Thomas should be on that list of people to look at to bring back as a pre-merger.
100%. I agree. Very skilled.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's right up there with Jelinski right now in terms of
you're
people
a
I
You're a
fan of
Gillespie
Zelensky.
fan.
Let's go.
I'm a huge defender of Jelensky being the best first boot ever. Because
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. He,
thank
he
you.
he was entertainment. Like, that's what you need in a first boot is not a great player. You need entertainment.
Yeah, I
100%.
mean, you make your mark, and I think that's a great thing that Thomas did as well. That even though neither of them lasted very long, they did so much in their time that they really made their mark. And I think by the end of the season, we're still going to remember Thomas, even though he went out in the pre-merge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so when we start up this episode, we're coming back from the aftermath of one crazy tribal council, a historic tribal council. And it's Cedric kind of like in the most awkward position ever because he voted for Say twice, and was like, "Yeah, I decided to save you." And now, like, now Say and Mary are being like, what if we actually work together? Where this rivalry became like, a friendship, and it was kind of like an interesting shift, one that I kind of expected a little bit because it's like, do
Mhm.
you really want to keep Cedric around? You don't really trust him that much, and we see that even when they swapped into new tribes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the tough thing is like Cedric and Say, like they thought they trusted each other, then Cedric votes. Mary and Say had just never really been on the same page, but that was just because they just naturally started not on the same on the same sides.
Mhm.
So there's at least a little bit of like, well, if we can kind of like just smooth past that, maybe there's something that can be done there. They both recognize each other as good players. So there's potential ways to work there, but at the same time, I mean, it's really hard to ignore some of the stuff that happens in those for a few days. Like, they've been going at each other
100%.
for a while. At the very least, you're looking at the other person as a shield to use, like in an early merge situation. Like, that's like your best case scenario of wanting to work with that person.
Uh-huh. Well, I think in some ways it could be beneficial to them because, like, what Kyle and Camilla were trying to sell, that they weren't close.
Mhm.
Mary and Say actually have that. They weren't close. They were beefing, but they have kind of made up and could potentially work together. So,
Mhm.
like, it would be a very viable story come the
Yeah,
merge if they're still both there.
especially yeah, especially because Cedric was there to witness it. So both of them have receipts as well. So uh it could be, and I think that the two of them, I- I'm I think Cedric might be safe as well. I feel like they're going to lay off the original Green Tribe just because it's like, all right, if we looked at kind of like everything right now, on the when we get the drop your buffs and everything, well, what the tribe that went had no one from the original Green Tribe, so like sigh of relief for both of them. And then like, when we were looking at the new Orange Tribe, they were more focused on Star and Charity as the, kind of like targets there. And or was that no, that's New Logi, my bad. And the new Orange Tribe is like kind of like all over the place in the sense of like it can go any direction, but I feel like with Say's edit and I feel like Cedric not being the biggest threat right now and Bianca not having a vote, I
Yeah.
think those two can make it past this next episode and get to the earn the merge.
Yeah, we also saw a great connection with Cedric and Mitch. I think,
Hmm.
I mean, and this is like the thing is like I think Cedric has made some really bad moves in this game, but he has a good social game that keeps him in the game. That's what saved him so far, and I think we saw it immediately again. New tribes, he immediately is able to kind of like get himself back into a situation where I don't think he's going to be the first boots on that tribe, even though I think he may be one of the weaker members of the tribe and like should probably just be discarded, but I think yet again, managing to have a good social game is what can save you in this game.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely not like doing too much. He's just
Yeah.
what we saw in from him in this episode was him just making those social bonds with Mitch rather than over strategizing and doing stuff. And then it was kind of Mitch and Chrissy that were coming to Cedric and being like, hey, maybe we should vote out Bianca.
Yeah.
Or it was Say telling Bianca, hey, you go talk to Cedric and feel him out. So Cedric has put himself in a really good like middle position that everyone is kind of feeling like they want his vote in a way.
Yeah. And it's great, especially when you're a tribe that just like on paper, this tribe looks like the tribe that should be going to tribal. Like
Yeah.
just straight up. So the fact that they didn't go to tribal was a miracle for them. And it actually ended up being the most physical tribe that went, which is hilarious. But when you do see yourself on this kind of tribe, you need to make sure that you're not the first person that is going to get targeted because you have to assume that before the earn the murders that you're likely going once you saw this tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
No.
definitely thought for that tribe. My number one prediction going into the tribe swap is I totally thought Bianca was going to get voted out. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way that like this tribe is totally going to lose at least one of the two challenges. And Bianca with that not having her vote and coupling that with all the information we saw in this last episode,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens because now with Thomas gone, maybe Bianca is less of a threat. And we saw in the next time on Survivor that people were worried about Say, which I mean, they're always going to be worried about Say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested to see what might happen if that tribe does actually go to council next time.
It could be a thing where they might try and flip the switch because, you know, sometimes, and we saw it last season with 47, where you had, the blue tribe getting targeted because they had so many members left, the most that went into up until like right before the jury phase. And so it was like that put a bigger target on them as a result. So maybe because Thomas got idled out, they might be looking at Original Orange Tribe and be like, oh, okay, like if that team goes, we're like, maybe we take out Mitch or Chrissy here. I don't know, it's tough to say because I feel with this tribe, because like everyone not everyone is like a super fan, but though I think each tribe has like an idea of like what happens and how it's structured. So they're going to probably be thinking about, all right, who do we want to eliminate now? We probably need to get rid of someone strong. On there's no like, I would say apparent like threat or apparent strength to worry about, except for numbers. So if they're worried about Chrissy and Mitch maybe having more allies with the others, then maybe they target them. But that's the tribe I kind of want to see because it's like it's not cut and dry who's going over on that tribe,
Mhm.
especially with the idol play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with Bianca not having the vote,
Mhm.
even if Cedric and Say both wanted to flip it on Mitch or Chrissy, it would take either Mitch or Chrissy flip on each other as well. And so it would be very interesting to see like if it isn't the easy vote on Bianca, how they try to strategize to figure out other possibilities because that no vote it could be a really disastrous potentially.
Yeah, and
100%.
it's crazy in this new era because like people are always losing their votes. They have all these steal votes, extra votes. Like it's impossible to actually know like what real numbers are on a tribe when you're kind of going into this. Like us as an audience, obviously gets to see like we know where all the pieces are and everything. But like when you're going in there, you have to assume, okay, everyone's got their vote at first, and then you have to like figure out who's telling the truth, who's actually got their stuff. And then if someone does lie, like Thomas with the whole, his how he went on his advantage and everything, like now that throws a whole new wrench into the plans where you're like, okay, if we had maybe known stuff about that, the California girls could have actually like made sure they had a foolproof plan. Like
Mhm.
the obvious move that should have been done if like he knew about everything is use the steal vote on Camilla, have it be a 2-2, like split your votes, so that way even if Kyle plays his idol, the vote is still on to Camilla and she's gone. But the thing is,
Yeah.
like, there's so much safety, and that you're just assuming that's like, okay, we have it. We got a great tribe swap here. We got the alliance that has been named. We should be safe here.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me, and that's what happened with Thomas.
That it did.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point on Thomas lying about the advantage. And I think that this has been a very interesting trend in this season compared to other seasons because I feel
Mhm.
like, typically the lesson that people should be learning from a lot of seasons is stop telling so many people about your stuff.
Yeah,
But we look at and we thought that that was maybe the case with like when Thomas was talking about how Star's messing up. She's telling everyone about her thing. I'm keeping mine secret. And yet we've seen with both Thomas and Justin when they kept their advantage or disadvantage secret, that hurt them and screwed them over
mhm.
versus
Hmm.
people like Mitch and Camilla who have been very open and telling everyone about their advantage, and those are the people that have been succeeding so far. So
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
that's kind of a narrative in the season that the people that are being open are the people that are succeeding.
Yeah, like Shaheen said or in this episode. Granted, it's been around for a while, but information is currency in this game. And it's also like, people like it when you're playing a we game, not a me game. And I feel like also it's like people are going to check notes. And we also learned this episode that Star and Star was checking notes with Camilla about the whole like journey and stuff like that. And Star kind of inadvertently threw Thomas on the bus. It was like, like he walked away, or like he chose not to do the thing. And then like obviously she knew that Mitch was told the story and said it was mandatory. So it's like people can compare notes. You never know when a tribe swap may happen, or on a future journey they might, so it's like the truth is the easiest thing to say because you know people are worried if like people will I think last episode we saw it with Justin lied and Cedric got rid of his number one because of the lie. I'm sure there was
Mhm.
like other factors Cedric was playing in his head, but I feel like if he was honest and straightforward, it's like, yeah, I lost my vote, Cedric wouldn't have, you know,
Yeah.
considered taking out Justin that way.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that, but also there's a good chance that then everyone just votes Justin because he can't vote, and that's a safe move for Say and Cedric, or like it could have also backfired. It's that scary thing of just like you can be damned if you do, damned if you don't. You never know until you've committed, and once you
Yeah.
commit, then you're stuck to that way. So, and it also depends on like is it you lose a vote, what kind of advantage you get if it's like an extra vote or a steal vote. I think you should be a little more open to telling your allies about that kind of stuff because it's like you can't use a steal vote unless you work with your allies. Like it's there's very few instances where that is like you solely are going to be the one in control of that tribal council with that kind of stuff. So it can feel a little better for an like your allies, whereas like an idol is a little more dangerous sometimes to like let a lot
Mhm.
of people know maybe let your number one know like that did work with Kyle and Camilla, but like
Yeah.
don't go tell your group of four who you're really comfortable with about the idol like right away because you know I've seen instances in like we play Oryx here North, like we do a lot of like online games, and I've seen so many times where people tell their group, and then that group tells everyone as soon as they can, and now suddenly you have a public idol. You just got to play your idol at that point because now
Yeah.
everyone's going to be coming for you.
A fun little anecdote. I won immunity one time, and to see if I could trust someone, I told them that I had an idol when I didn't. And lo and behold, she told people, and I couldn't trust her.
Ooh,
And
that's a
she
good
got
Yeah.
voted
play.
out that episode.
Wow,
No,
that's a
Yeah.
good play.
Yeah.
thank you. But no, I feel like the thing is, and I think Joe has a solid point where it's like, like because at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, and it's like, what numbers can you bring to the table? Whether it's 0 because you lost your vote, or 2 because you have an extra vote, or gaining 2. So you steal a vote plus your vote, basically 3 vote difference. That's a lot that can change the tides of everything. So I feel, especially because we haven't gotten temp idols and stuff on there, honesty is the best policy because people can fact checks, people can do that. And like Joe said, an extra vote and stuff like that can be a little less scary. You can even say that it's not like a block of vote. Well, block of vote isn't as bad, but like you can even say like, oh, it's not a steal a vote initially. Be like, it's just an extra vote to make it
Hmm.
seem a little less like, oh, powerful.
Downplay it.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah, I
tell.
definitely think.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, Jinx, go ahead. You're the guest here.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Your words are more important.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, I definitely think like the power scaling is definitely a big thing there, especially with an idol, like keeping that secret for later. Like, you could play an idol at any time, and like, your allies might get mad that you kept it secret, but I think people understand that. Whereas with like the steal a vote, it, I think it was such a good point that that's so difficult to use later on if you're not telling anyone, because that's something you play before the votes even.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Mhm.
people might get so mad that you stole someone's vote, then now they just all vote for you, right?
Yeah.
So to not have anyone on the end of that, and for Thomas, I think that he was so scared to tell the California girls about it this time, especially with Camilla, calling him out for lying, that he tried to just keep it secret. But the problem is that when does he tell them then? How is he
Yeah.
ever going to use this? Because he's never going to have a time he's going to be able to use it without
Yeah.
needing to tell them, and then they're just going to be mad then. So it probably would have been better if he just told them right away, because now he got,
Mhm.
catch 22 stuck in this middle ground.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. You have a small window from when you get an advantage to telling people. And if you miss that little window, now, even if you do tell them, people are going to be like, why didn't you tell me when
Mhm.
you went on that journey? Because now there's this like whole period of time where there's a lie that was built on someone that you were hoping was going to have, your trust. And so yeah, it really does feel like you got to let people know when you have these kind of like vote advantages, especially like let your closest allies know. Like they have to be in on it. Otherwise, it's just going to be something you have, and you're like, cool, I got this thing that's in my pocket, but is it actually going to be useful? I don't know because I need to use it with people.
Well, I mean, there's also an extra thing with the steal a vote as well, and we saw that in 40 Several last season. Is that you can use the steal a vote not even if just for numbers, just to be sure that your target, doesn't have a chance to play a shot in the dark.
Mhm.
So that way it's like, all right, well, even if one of them has an idol, now they have this conundrum of like, do I use it on me? Do I use it on Camilla? And then you can split the votes, and that means either someone plays their idol, or like you have a better chance of like making sure, okay, less chance that someone's going to play something because you get rid of their shot in the dark for the
Yeah.
round.
Even if they completely believed, they didn't find the idol in the bag or the shoe or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that shot in the dark is still an option. I really am of the belief that there would be no better time, probably in the entire game, to play the steal a vote, because we've
Yeah.
seen like these extra vote, steal a vote advantages just fail or just not do anything so many times,
Mhm.
where like there's only 5 people here. Like you're not
Yeah.
going to have very many times you're going to have this few of numbers, which is going to make such a big impact. And had he played it in any way, the California girls would have been guaranteed safe. So I
Yeah.
think like this is the perfect opportunity to play it. I think that was a big mistake, not just
Yeah.
going for and playing it.
Yeah. Big mistake, Kubernetes.
Big mistake. Cancel
Yeah,
Christmas.
Cancel Christmas. We'll see him on season 50, I'm sure.
100%.
With
uh,
Jelinski.
yeah. So yeah, we get to the challenge where Vula, this new group of Vula is like, we're gonna break the curse, we're coming in. They had all that energy, they were like, we're winning this. And it seemed like it was gonna be the case. It seemed like they started off so strong. It was like, wow, look at the disparity between groups. They're like going through this like crazy. Um, but guess what? Puzzle is the great equalizer. Yet again,
Yeah.
that's what decides it so many times is can you do a puzzle?
Well, I don't think it's not only the fact that you can do a puzzle. I think the main reason why Camilla, stepped out of like being the one constructed was that this puzzle was heavy and
Yeah.
required a lot of strength. And so, like, in theory, yeah, you can help out on the map, but I think everyone kind of like agrees, like, yeah, even if she didn't, couldn't move the pieces around as well, it would have been more beneficial to have her there.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, she was
yeah,
shouting out the orders. She was saying, move this, Joe, move this. And it was not working.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because this team seems so stacked, not just for their physical traits, but I would have thought that Camilla
Yeah.
and Thomas would have probably been the top two puzzle solvers on the season based on,
And
mhm,
Shaheen. Shaheen's
yeah.
really
yeah,
good too.
So I thought like the fact, and the thing is that they had it done. It was wrong, but it's not like they
Yeah.
couldn't, they weren't Rome with zero puzzle pieces. They kind
Yeah.
of just got stuck in this situation where they just had one piece wrong and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with it.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it has to be like a base piece that was just slightly off or something like that, and that just
yeah.
caused everything because they had to essentially rebuild it, and like
Mm.
even then, it was still like it seemed a little wonky, so it was unfortunate, and this was like the tribe I really didn't want to see go to tribal council. Like I actually liked so
Same.
many people on this tribe that I was like, please, like just let them just win, just let them get to earn the merge and be safe.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so.
That was
I
my
was
winner pick.
watching the episode, I was reading the edit, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this tribe is gonna go to council for sure. And I was like,
Yeah.
please, please let me be wrong. I do not want them
Yeah.
to go to
Yeah.
council.
Yeah, they definitely
No.
had like the whole storylines essentially. Like there was a bit of a chance of it being orange because we kind of got to see a little stuff there, but like it did feel like, especially with Thomas, I felt like Thomas was getting personally a lot of stuff like
Mhm.
content around him. That it did feel like okay, they're setting up strategically stuff for this tribe, whereas the other tribes are kind of like, oh, I like this person. Oh, this is cool. Like we get
Oh,
to meet new
David's such a
people.
provider.
Yeah, David,
Yeah.
yet again, if you're a casual fan, you better love David. That's what we're being told.
Yeah.
100%. Circle back to the whole thing of like it probably being, the new Green Tribe is that the previously on Survivor. Like it's not just like a recap of like what happened last episode and stuff like that. And especially in like I would say in like a new era of television, a lot of times when they have these recaps, it's like remember this thing because that's going to be a plot point later on in this episode to some capacity. And they brought up, the idol from Kyle, Camilla's, extra vote. And the first thing we see is Thomas getting the steal a vote. So, like, all these things were kind of like leaning towards, like, okay, these things are going to play a factor in this episode. So, yeah. But yeah, Kyle was my winner pick. And so, almost said Nathan. North. So Joe and I do like a draft at the beginning of each season, just based off of preseason stuff. And so like on this team, 4 out of the 5 were on my draft list, with Kyle being my winner pick.
Ooh.
Joe only had Thomas on there, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
because of a well-placed idol, Thomas got eliminated.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, of course. Like it just has to be my person. That's just you should see it. Last season was horrific for my draft. I had I drafted 9 people. I had 9 of the first 10 boots. My entire
He had no
team.
one in the top, no one in the top 8. He only got one
Wow.
person. I only lost one person pre-jury, and that was Tiana. And even then, it almost looked like Joe was about to lose someone.
Yeah.
What?
It,
Who
it
was
was
your
hilarious.
who went furthest on your draft?
It was Gabe, right? Yeah, it was Gabe.
It was Gabe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is not great because he was my last pick.
Oof. Oof. Well, I watched some of your videos. Was Stephanie
Mhm.
your winner pick for this
Yeah,
season?
yeah, yeah. She was my winner pick. Okay, make fun of me now. Come on.
So wow,
It was
I
based
mean
off
it's
of
going rough.
preseason.
Yeah, she seemed like she was getting some heroic kind of stuff preseason. I was like, oh wow, maybe she's got this. Maybe she's gonna be the next Kenzie, or and no, the second she opened her mouth for the first confessional, I was like, oh no, I want a refund. So I already know where this is going.
Uh, hey, I know someone else who Stephanie was their winner pick, and I've made fun of them too. So I mean, you're
Yeah,
not alone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
First time my winner pick is first boots. So
Yeah.
let's go. That's something. That's something.
Your winner pick wasn't Jelinski,
No.
the goat. Come on.
No. Uh, it is kind of funny because in 47, Rome was his winner pick, and I was about to pick Rome, but he got the first choice. And then this guy hired Rome to do a cameo roasting me for my picks. And then fast forward to 48 when there was a Bryson win in Los Angeles. And who do I run into but Rome? And so I'm like, all right, here's how I return the favor for free, might I?
Yeah, yeah. You got a better deal out of this by far.
That's
Yes.
so funny. I saw the one from the other week of Rome roasting Joe, so that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, you know what? This season's totally going to be different. It's not like, oh, wait a second, you have Joe. You drafted Joe, so I'm screwed. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
feel to circle back to someone that is on your draft and also talk about a great highlight of this episode was David. And
Yeah,
David's been
David.
giving a lot of like I don't want to say like winner, but like he's getting a lot of emotional content. Where he also
Mhm.
revealed like, he talked to his girlfriend and apparently they are like broken up because of financial issues, stuff like that. He's bonding with it, it makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
But like, like he's also bonding with Eva very well. He's getting more of that like hero thing. He was like, oh yeah, I was like raised, like as the only guy in my house opposed to my father. And so like, he's getting a lot of positive content.
Mhm.
Um, and also it's like, I think that was also a breath of fresh air for Eva in this episode too, because it's like, okay, now, like unbeknownst to her, maybe she just got life in this game.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like David's definitely going far.
Yes.
It feels like I also think they might want him as a season 50 representative. It definitely feels like they like him a lot. Casual fans are gonna love him. If they bring back Jonathan, for instance, you need another really strong guy.
Yeah.
So to balance it out, I feel like David is an easy person to have be on
Yeah.
another tribe if Jonathan's coming back. So there's
Each tribe
definitely
gets a designated Chad.
yeah, it's very possible. I mean,
Hunters on the third one.
yeah. Well, that was one of the
Yeah.
problems with the Green Tribe is they didn't have the Chad.
Mhm.
We had a Joe and a David that were just so good in those early stages of like get them to the puzzle. And Green
Mhm.
Tribe had Kevin who injured himself early on, and Kevin's not even if he didn't injure himself, he's still not on the level of David
Yeah.
and Joe. So
Yeah.
It was so funny in like the preseason interviews of Kevin saying he said like, "Oh, I see these three big strong guys. One of them is definitely going to be on my tribe." And then he gets there and he's like, "Oh, I'm the big strong guy." Like, sorry, Kevin.
yeah, they definitely needed to mix up the Purple Tribe a little better, I think. But
Yeah.
you know.
Like
Survivor loves disaster tribes, so that's what it
they
is.
do. And I don't know if we see the Green Tribe go again, even though it's all new players. I think I think it was just a cursed tribe,
Mhm.
a cursed name and everything. It's like, no, that was
Yeah,
just meant to be destroyed.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, even more cursed than Lulu, who went on a winning streak after the swap. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really not looking good.
Yeah, exactly. And normally, like a lot of times, I feel like purple tribes have also been pretty bad disaster tribes. This is where like the purple tribe is great. You know, it's like they were like, you know what? Let's do the opposites. Let's really change up the game by making the purple tribe also just really strong this time. So,
Uh-huh.
uh, but but yeah, no, we
Purple Tribes have been bringing the entertainment though every season. Like,
that
100%.
is true. That is true. The Purple Tribe this season before the swap, especially, was like the main character tribe. Like
absolutely.
they weren't going to tribal, but we were going to know about what was happening on that tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Survivor producers love the color purple. Like,
They do.
yeah.
They do.
I'm positive that that purple one and the selection for the fan votes, I'm sure that one got selected. I just know it. So I voted for that one. I'm pretty sure. So
was that the one with
Let me
the
check.
teal?
yeah,
I
teal.
like the teal. Um, oh, so there was a purple one. So also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, North. So if we look here, that we are only seeing three colors. So does that mean we're finally going back to two tribes? Your thoughts on that?
That's really interesting. I I would be shocked if they made the call to just straight up go two tribes. I feel
Mhm.
like if it is two tribes, they'll put it up to a vote, and then two tribes will probably win the vote.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then I feel like if they don't put up to a vote, I feel like they would just choose three tribes. So I do find
Yeah.
that very interesting. I wonder if maybe they're just keeping the merge color secret, or
Mhm.
I don't know. That's tough to predict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see them wanting to do two tribes if they want to get 20 players. Because the thing is, with three
Yeah.
tribes, you are kind of
That's true.
limited to doing 18 unless you have even more players and you give extra people to the tribes. But
Yeah.
I just don't see Survivor doing that because I think they know like too many players that makes it really hard to like showcase a lot of people all the time. So
Mhm.
I would love to see two tribes. We've seen three tribes too much now.
Mhm.
It was a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air back in like the 30s and stuff when we would do like
Mhm.
a tribe of three because it was so rare. Now that we've had it for 8 seasons in a row, about to be nine, give us something else. Give us just
Yeah.
I'm basically voting on just new things because we've seen so many of the same stuff over and
Yeah.
over again. Please give us new things.
I say bump it up. Three tribes at eight.
Yeah.
You want a lot of people on the cast? You want to keep three tribes? Just do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Survivor needs to watch Barstool Sports and Surviving Barstool, and because they were able to get a bunch of players on, and they did a bunch of stuff like to eliminate players in the pre-merge to like get us back into like
Mhm.
normal stages.
Mm.
So it would be cool if it was like three tribes, but like a lot of people, but two tribes go to tribal council every
Yeah.
time. Um,
Yeah.
that would be like one way to do it because I know that there's so many people in the casting pool right now
Hmm.
there's going to be so many people that aren't going to make it here, and then they'll probably won't make it to the next one because then they'll start getting forgotten about because that's what always happens in Survivor. And it's like give as many people who are great TV a chance to like become legends in their own rights
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we need it. We need more Survivor legends. You know, the new era because we haven't had an All-Star season has just not been able to produce any legends yet. So
Except for Bruce.
except for
And
Bruce.
Zelensky.
And
Bro,
Zelensky, that's true. You're
Zelensky.
right.
He is the most talked about first boot of all time. He is surpassed Francesca because
yeah.
he kept being talked about in more episodes than Francesca has been talked about.
Wait, maybe. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive because
That might be factual.
he kept getting brought up. And then I think even in 47, he was even kind of they made a reference to Zelensky with 40 several.
40
So
several.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he is just factually the most talked about first.
Wow. And it's only been like 2 seasons since he was on. It's impressive.
Exactly. So he's a legend. He's an all-star. He's definitely should be in the running.
100%. Um, Yeah. I think with season 50, it's like they know that expectations are going to be high, especially because they announced it a year ago. It is crazy to think they were announcing that during 46. And like, like there was like, all right, so they're building up hype for this like right now, like 2 years ahead. That means like, which I was initially worried because then it makes me like, oh no, now expectations are going to be too high. So
Mhm.
I think they're definitely feeling the pressure right now of like we need to have like the best cast. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to hear what you guys' thoughts on like what the cast could be or should be, but I was kind of like of the opinion that like I don't know if we need like the biggest cast because we had Winners at War as the last returner season, which was so explosive. I'm
Mhm.
like, there are plenty of like, second chance people and whatnot that I really want to see again. Like, if
Yeah.
you want like the biggest cast of all time, you're gonna put in Parvati and Suri and all them again. I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
like let's mix it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want Devons. Devons is one of my like top ones to
Mhm.
bring back because it's sad that he's only played one time so far. He
Yeah.
absolutely should be at least like a three-time player. Like even if he comes back for 50 and goes out early, they should still bring him back. Like he should
Mhm.
always be in the
Well, he
casting.
has been voted out twice, so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And to be fair, I really do think if he comes back, he is a high likelihood of being like a third or fourth boot of the season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just by threat level. Like everyone's going to know him and be scared of him, especially if they do swap. A swap would definitely be very scary for Devons. But I do think we're going to get a lot of new era players. I think that that's going to be what we're seeing a lot of, and then like a sprinklings of some older players. I know Sean Rector is also in the casting pool.
Mhm.
That he's probably one of the ones I'm most excited for, just because it's like it's been so long. He was such
Yeah.
like he was a great player for
Mhm.
in the day, so it's going to be curious to see like how he's changed, how he's evolved. And he might even be like a low key like winner pick that I choose for season 50. Like
Yeah.
honestly, now, hopefully, I did not
Yeah.
just curse him to
Over
be first boost.
Jelinski?
Yeah, over
Yeah.
Zelensky.
That's my winner pick, season 50, baby.
Uh,
Nah. It's nah. Oh, speaking of winner pick, we didn't ask who is your winner pick of the
hmm.
season.
Much like the name of my compatriot here, Big Joe is my
Big
winner
Joe?
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it seems like it's very likely. They gave him so much in that first episode, and now I feel like they're a little bit in like, okay, this is pre-merge. Let's kind of like hide him a little bit, and
Hmm.
then I feel like once we hit the merge, like it's going to be so much about him, and like everyone is still talking. Like even if he's not saying anything, other people are talking about how much they like Joe. And
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
sign of a winner is when other players are talking about like someone in a positive light, or they could be like, oh, they're such a great player, we might need to take them out, and then they never get a chance to do it. That happened with
Hmm.
Rachel last season. Um, and I just feel like we're getting that right now with Joe. So good pick.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good about that pick so far. Right off the bat in the
Yeah.
first episode, I was like,
Oh,
"Ooh, like this is looking good." So I'm
Yeah.
excited. Better than
100%.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You beat me on that one.
Most people beat you on that one, Joe.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. You know what? I can only go up from here. I can
That is
only
fair. That is
Season
fair.
50,
40,
Sean Rector is gonna win and prove everyone wrong.
exactly. Hey,
yeah,
I picked Tony Vlachos to win Winners at War preseason.
he
Oh
Um,
did.
wow.
yeah, so it happens. It happens. Yeah,
I don't think many people were thinking that, so that's a good pick.
that was definitely I just like Tony Vlachos, so I picked
Fair.
But also I did think that because of Game Changers that he was actually going to be way better because he had that blunder that's going to
Mhm.
make people
Yeah.
not like instantly target him, and I was right. So
Mhm.
um
So he's coming back for Australia versus the world and winning number three.
no,
We'll see. We'll
he's not,
see.
No?
no.
The thing is, it's tough. I don't know. Well, I mean, he didn't do too well on Trader, so maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's like, up and
Yeah,
down, up and down. So like because of that, maybe he's going in not going to be perceived as a big of a threat because like you, you never know.
yeah.
I think some of it depends on tribe chemistry, who wins, etc. And then
Mhm.
it could be the thing. He definitely has potential. If you're able to win twice, it obviously puts a huge target on his back. So I don't know how
Mhm.
far they'll get if they keep losing,
Yeah,
if he's
Mhm.
always on a losing tribe, or if like he can Hulk out and challenge it. I think it really depends. And he's good at finding, like, he has it in him to make it to the end and win again. It's just, I
hmm
think it's still going to be hard because he's seen as one of the greatest Survivor contestants in the world. So it's
yeah,
like,
That's what
yeah,
yeah.
that season's about, though. So
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great players, but also like I feel like Tony Vlachos has like skyrocketed to like even better than these other greats, and it's just like,
mhm.
damn, like you can't have a Mount Rushmore without Tony Vlachos now. He has to be on that, and usually he's either number one or number two that someone says in their Mount Rushmore. So yeah,
This is
Right
fair.
after Jelinski, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
King of first boots.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Anything else we want to talk about, or are we ready to get into confessionals?
There is one thing. So right before the tribe swap and everything, we did get into a little bit of an idol hunt with the old Loggy tribe.
Mhm.
And it did confirm because as soon as Mary was walking away, cameraman zoomed right in to where it was hidden. So I do wonder if, especially because it's like old Loggy,
It's
that
a
idol is still in
Vula.
play. Vula, I can't keep. This is why I try to be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
remembered, and then I forgot. Oh well. So I do think that that's a bit of a Chekhov's gun where they showed like, oh,
Yeah.
it is definitely hidden there, and oh, the tribe that just now is at a 2-2 split,
Mm.
Yeah.
has that idol that's potentially could be found there. So
Yeah.
I think that is definitely going to play a huge factor in the next episode.
Yeah. And Joe and Shaheen need to find it because right now, it's going to be one of them going home if they go again because Kyle
Yeah.
and Camilla, they have an extra vote. They essentially
Yeah.
can decide the next votes if they want to. And yeah.
I think it would be really fascinating because even though Kyle and Camilla are two people, they have three votes, right?
Mhm.
So Shaheen and Joe could pull the exact same move on them that they just pulled on the California girls if they find that idol. So
That would be
Yeah.
wild. I would I would love to see that happen. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's a good one to bring up because definitely if they show that like they have shots like that all the time, but don't use it. So the fact that they did choose to use it there means that it has to be of some relevance or importance at some point.
mhm.
Yeah. So
And I
future Survivor contestants, make sure you're paying attention, like in the corner of your eye, where your cameramans are zooming in and stuff,
Yeah,
just in case. Or like try and play tricks on them.
yeah,
Like you think you're walking over way, then you turn around, see if they're zooming in on his thing.
yeah. I know
they got
some
like zoomed in right on the idol.
I know
Yeah.
some players, they'll be on an idol search, and if the cameramen start to leave them, that means that players will go like, "Oh, that means there's no idol over here," because that means that they now are like, "There's nothing to be found here." So
Yeah.
then they'll go somewhere else until cameramen start following them again.
That's funny.
Smart.
Yeah,
And I wonder about that idol. We saw last season Sue found the second idol and it had the whole red paint thing. So I wonder, will that second Vula idol have something special about it? So I really hope someone finds it so we see what that could
yeah,
be.
I think so.
yeah. Especially we
Um,
can. It's probably only going to be one more episode before they earn the merge. So
Mhm.
we're either
mhm.
finding it next episode or not, and maybe they're going back to the Vula camp as the merge camp. I don't know.
That would be
Um,
terrible.
that would suck. That would be like everyone would be like, this season's cursed.
Everyone loses on the Vula camp.
No one wins immunity ever. This is an immunity list.
They
No.
all drop out of the endurance first second. No one can do it anymore. No energy.
No, we didn't really see how bad the camp. That was another thing. As soon as the new
Yeah.
Vula tribe I was right. Okay. Vula
You
tribe
got it
gets
this time.
back. I learned. Uh, gets back. They see the condition of the camp. They even apologized. It was like, sorry about the camp. And then they see it, and it does look like it barely has a roof. The
Yeah.
bamboo is like split, and like there was a deleted scene where it showed the night before of how like they had zero coverage at all, not
Mhm.
just because they didn't have a tarp, because tarp helps, but there is a way to um make your shelter where you
Mhm.
don't necessarily need one of the tarps. Tarp just makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, it's so unfair for these people who went here who don't get flint or any of that stuff now too, because like they've been fighting for their flint and now suddenly they get swapped and now they're in those terrible conditions where it's like they did not deserve that. They I feel like
No.
I feel like if they do a swap, they need to give everyone flint for a day and be like
Yeah.
we'll take it away again at the next community challenge, but
Mhm.
like you don't deserve to be punished because this tribe was just ass for the last week.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie was the palm frond person, I think, right? And they
Yeah,
got rid of her, so
yeah.
they had no one to make the roof.
And that's why the tribe sucked. They got rid of
Yeah.
Stephanie. Everything would be different if Stephanie stayed.
Oh
Rats.
yes. 100%.
uh, okay.
But I've always, the hot take, I've always been kind of a tribe swap hater.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, they did lose the challenge, but these guys just got so screwed. I mean, these five were like in the best positions on their original tribes, and now they're
Yeah,
sent to the sucky camp. They got no food, they got no shelter, and
yeah,
then they lose and they have to vote one of them out. I don't know.
Yeah. I,
yeah,
I think especially I think it also depends on when you start too, because like I used to think that a lot because I started in like a big streak of like they never swapped the tribes, and then when they did I was like, what are they thinking, why are they doing this? It's like, come on, no stripe swap. I feel like it shakes things up, because also it's like, as entertaining as it's been watching Vula go week after week after week, and now after week. So it's like I still want to
mhm,
see, like, how the other competitors play as well. It's
yeah,
just like, like even if I expect the disaster tribe to go, I want to, like, I like some surprises. I like things like that. And I also want to see, like I said, other players play as well. Or maybe, like, some people get a break. Let's see how they interact with this person, and not wait until the merge, because sometimes the pagonging, or like, the oolonging of, or matsing, whatever tribe just gets decimated. It's like, well, okay. Um, it's crazy to watch, but in hindsight, it's like you miss out on content from other tribes as well.
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, I was also I said I think last week. I think the tribe swap is in the new era is a breaking case of emergency right now.
Mhm.
Because we have only seen it when a tribe has had the first three boots of the season
Mhm.
and then they do it. Because if they go again, I mean that usually that three-person tribal council is not exactly the most thrilling TV. Like maybe this cast would have been able to do it. Like maybe there have been some crazy like someone loses a vote, shot in the dark, idle. Like something could have happened, but also a lot of times it's just like two people against one, and we're just like, sorry, we just gotta
Mhm.
take you out, and then that's what ends up happening.
Mhm.
It basically was what happened in 41. That I think that's what kind of like
Yeah,
made
with
them
Ulo.
Yeah.
I think that's what made them decide to like start doing this kind of thing where it's like, okay, they just take out Genie. Okay.
Wasn't there something weird with the genie vote though? They had to like pass advantages around or something. So
There
was it?
was Jeannie had an idol, or she knew where the Beware advantage was, but she didn't open it, or like she had like that kind of stuff. And so then Shan went over, took the Beware advantage away from her, and then essentially was just like, okay, you don't get it anymore.
There was something.
Yeah, there was something, but it was definitely like Jeannie was not making it any further than Shannon Ricard.
No,
But I
no.
mean, I feel
Yeah.
like I
Yeah,
honestly I feel like this try like if it was Mary and Cedric and Say going back to tribal, I don't know what would have happened. We might have ended up with Say somehow in the middle,
yeah.
after almost getting
Yeah.
voted out and deciding between the other two. It would have been really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, and then like 45 is the other instance. I mean, it seemed like Emily and Caleb were pretty close, so it probably would have been Sean going. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so it is. I think it's likely to cause like an easy vote. But there, Survivor things always change. Things always can end up happening. So sometimes what is like not great, like on paper, can end up actually being great. So yeah. Anything else to talk about of this episode?
Nothing's coming to mind right now. Um, yeah. I think anything I do want to add will probably use for MVP, LVP, or yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Then let's move into confessionals. Um okay, so Thomas, he is leaving Survivor with 19 confessionals. So pretty good there in terms of like what he at least been was shown. Say though, my God, 40 confessionals for Say.
Hmm.
She has passed the Bonu bar. In case you don't know what the Bonu bar is, it is in order to even have a chance of winning, I think you have to get more than Bonu's confessional, which is 35. And she did that in the same amount of time that Bonu got 35. So that is
Wow.
even more. We might have to have a new thing for Say because
Yeah.
she has surpassed it. Um
Yeah, the say scale or something.
yeah,
The
the
say
Say
scale.
scale.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, significantly far above everyone else because the next highest confessional is Kyle with 21. So Say's almost got double what Kyle has.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then next up we got Mary with 20 confessionals. So pretty good there. Then we got Camilla with 18 confessionals. She had a pretty good bump this episode. Um, then we got David with 17 confessionals. Still being just a really nice Superman over there. Uh,
Hmm.
then we got Eva with 15 confessionals. Pretty good,
Yeah.
pretty
That's
good.
great.
Next up, we got a tie here with Joe and Shaheen at 13 confessionals.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
think they would. It's crazy to think. I feel like those two would have had more at this
Shaheen
point.
especially.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think that their confessionals feel more weighty, even though that they're not getting a lot.
Mhm.
Whereas some other people I think are getting fluff confessionals, like or just kind
Mhm.
of giving them stuff. I think Say's got some great confessionals, but I also think that she also gets a lot of just like we just want to hear what Say is saying, even if it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we got Bianca with 11 confessionals. And then we got a
Yeah.
tie here with Charity and Cedric at 10 confessionals.
Not
And
great.
then, yeah, not great, not great. Then Mitch has 9 confessionals.
That's
And
crazy that Mitch is that low.
I know, right?
Mhm.
I thought he'd have more, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he has been shown, like he hasn't had a
Yeah.
goose egg, so
Hmm.
and then Stars got 6 confessionals. She got 0 this episode. Which
Nope.
also out of winner contention if you get 0,
Yep.
because they have more time now with 90 minutes that they are absolutely giving winner a confessional every episode at the bare minimum.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Chrissy is at the least amount of confessionals with 5.
Hmm.
Yeah. She did get two this episode, which was nice.
Yeah, I was watching Survival with my friends and I was like, "Whoa, we get to actually hear what she thinks."
Yeah.
Still has less than Stephanie the first boot though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
not great. Yeah, another person 0 confessionals in an episode, so also out of winner contention.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, there is something I did want to bring up because of Star. Circling back to like when New Loggy or Purple, I don't know these names. Just want
You're
to
right.
stick to colors, Ryan. Stick to colors. New Purple, they go and like immediately Eva throws Star under the bus and also kind of name drops
Yeah,
her alliance a little bit. It was like, oh yeah, I really trust Joe and Shaheen.
Mhm.
Could be
yeah,
a little reckless, but at the same time, Uh, it did build like bonds or it made it like, oh, easy vote out. But I don't know. It's kind of like the exact opposite of the Camilla thing, if you think about it.
Yeah, I thought it was bad. I feel like
Yeah.
I think that there's a world where it benefits her, but I also see worlds where it definitely blows up in her face here.
Hmm.
Because if you're willing to go ahead and now like throw someone on the bus to people you just met, because it seemed like it was like they just met. It was the first time Star walked anywhere
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
and you threw her under the bus. That is not great for people who you're wanting to maybe ally with for this tribe. Like, oh, that means Eva would totally be willing to throw me under the bus if I walked away from a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we have seen so far that honesty has been the best policy so far in this season.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, like David, responded pretty well to what Eva was saying. So
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows?
Also, if honesty is like the theme of the season, man, how is Joe not winning the season? Like he's gonna get the end, and like integrity is my middle name, and he's gonna win. You know, like there we go. You know, he fits the theme of what we want out of the winner for the season.
I
I love
agree.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on now to our final part of the podcast, MVP and LVP. Um, I'm going to give MVP to Camilla because I think that she just hands down played this episode pretty much perfectly. Like Kyle plays his
Mhm.
idol correctly because of Camilla. Like Camilla
Yeah.
essentially sets everything up for that to happen.
I can't even argue, like I don't think there was like this one, there is no clear LVP to me. You might have different opinions, but like MVP was like so dominant because Camilla had to stay calm under pressure. She had, as soon as she got to the beach, been, inserted doubt into, the California girls with Thomas's thing. And then was able to backtrack that, getting Thomas's, trust back, and also all of the Purple Tribe, because originally Camilla was going to be the target, and then was like, no, it's going to be Kyle. And so like, was able to be in that safe position and then help orchestrate this huge blindside that tipped the scales in the favor, and also, didn't need to use her extra vote, gave it to Kyle just in case, because he knew like even if Camilla goes, at least my ally will still have it.
Hmm.
Even if he doesn't have the numbers, it's something. So I think it was a super, super smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. Do I give a MVP?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would also definitely say I think Camilla was the MVP here, and I think what Ryan said about like even putting all that trust in Kyle, even if Camilla goes out, helping Kyle potentially moving forward. I mean, I think that she really put on a masterclass this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic episode for Camilla.
Yeah. And then LVP, I'm gonna give it to Thomas. I think he had the ways to save himself. He just had too much trust and comfort in his numbers and assuming that Shaheen's shitty search of the idol was actually good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, like yeah, he could have used the steel boat to save himself, but he didn't. So I'll give it to him because I don't think there's anyone who was like so train wrecky bad that deserved this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think because I really can't think of anyone, I might just say, yeah, I might just have to say Thomas, because like it's even on the other tribes, like how we said, like, yeah, Eva made a bad move, but at the same time, she has like another good, strong ally, and also someone like, edit aside, like if she's allying with these, big, strong jock guys, she's not going to be seen as the biggest threat out of them. So like, she has like two of these Chads going into
Mhm.
going into the earn the merge and stuff like that. So I feel like if those are her two like number ones, she's gonna be sitting pretty. Even though like, yeah, Risky saying like, "Hey, let's take out Star. Hi, strangers. Let's do this."
Hmm.
She's on the bottom. She was gonna be this, and it's like, yeah. So I'm just gonna have to say Thomas.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like this episode felt very focused on the tribe that was going to council, almost differently than the past few episodes had been. This one was so much on them. So I mean, yeah, I mean, other than that one Eva moment, I don't think anyone else did anything too exceptionally good or bad on the other two tribes. Um, so for the sake of being different, I would give my LVP to Shaheen. I do think that Thomas could have saved
Yeah,
himself, but just to mix it up. I mean, Shaheen, terrible bag searching
yeah,
skills.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also think Shaheen seemed to be like way more snowed over than Thomas was throughout the
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's fair.
Shaheen is definitely not getting a job at TSA anytime soon.
no.
Nope.
Also,
No.
why, Kyle, are you keeping an idol in your bag? You should absolutely be looking to find go dig a hole somewhere and keep it there, not in your bag, because everyone searches bags, especially on
Mhm.
swamp
Yeah.
tribes.
Well, the thing is, it's like because we know the show, it's like you can re-hide the idol and producers will step in or cameraman will step in. It's like it's already like taken, so you
Yeah,
can't
Mhm.
do anything about it. So, like that is North, did you know about that or no?
I think I knew
Yeah.
that.
It's not like a rule they flat out say in like the actual edit. But it's like one of those things where it's like, contestants talk and stuff like that. And that is a huge thing. It's like you can rebury it, get it whenever you need to.
yeah,
Obviously, if someone finds it, they could like around tribal just kind of like hover around there to see if someone claims it.
Hmm.
However, I feel
yeah.
like if you're going to tribal and stuff like that, you yourself need to scramble and not be at a fixed spot. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you want to make sure that someone doesn't know about an idol, like it's the safest way. It's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
more like let's just it'll be there. If I feel like I needed this tribal council, I'll just go get it. Especially if you have like Camilla there, like to make sure to like talk to the California girls and make sure that
Hmm.
Kyle can kind of get off for a couple minutes to go grab it. You just got to remember where it is because we have also seen in Survivor people forget where their idol is.
Yeah.
Mm.
I do worry about like the lesson to be learned from this bag searching thing though, is that like I feel like, the precedent set for future seasons of people gonna be like, okay, now we have to search the bag every time and we gotta search thoroughly and tear this stuff up.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we also thought that was going to be the case at Winners at War when like Rob told everyone to get their bags out and like dump it out
yeah.
and do all that stuff, but we haven't seen that yet since then, really. So
Well,
yeah.
also like it's so common for the idols to be like three or four beads on a string and like easy to
Yeah,
conceal.
yeah. They need to change idols. That should be one of the votes is better idols.
Oh, that would
I
be
think that's
great.
what
Yeah,
I think that's what they're doing. I think that
yeah,
was one of the things they kind of confirmed was going to be something we voted on. So yeah,
yeah,
we want to see some production value in it. We want to see the turtle. We want to see the little shrunken head. We want to see all these little cool
yeah.
things that the set designers would be craving to make.
Big
Yeah,
square.
they have such a
Yeah,
great production department, and yet they don't care about how idols look, which is one of
Hmm.
the most
yeah,
important like elements of the game is the hidden immunity idols, and they just did not. They stopped caring.
Yeah. When Shaheen was looking through there, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna feel some kind of big bulbous thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's just like this tiny
It's
little
tiny.
string. Like, how is he
Yeah,
supposed to find
yeah,
that?
yeah, and even if you like just saw it without a note or anything, like sometimes you might just be like, oh, it doesn't look like it's honestly an idol because it looks so
Yeah.
bad. They
Yeah.
look so bad.
yeah,
And I mean, if Bob Crowley can make that good of a convincing fake idol, then people can make fake idols. You don't need to downplay the idols just to make it so you can make a fake.
Yeah,
yeah. Just steal
exactly.
things from idols or bags and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then boom, or find a
Mhm.
really nice rock or
Yeah.
seashell by the seashore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that does it here. North, if you got anything you want to plug and say, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, check out my channel. It's called Truest Northern on YouTube. I've been posting there every week, talk about my Edgic analysis. If you want to learn a little bit more about how Edgic works and kind of the ratings, go check that out. I do my ratings and my contender rankings every week. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and yeah, that's what I got.
Okay,
Nice.
awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to be able to talk to you, be able to meet you here. This is our first time being able to see each other. So
Yeah,
definitely
Yeah.
was great hearing your thoughts. And yeah, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.